What's up guys, Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and welcome to our off-road ATV boot buyer's guide. Alright guys, so we all know that ATV riding covers a very broad range of riding styles. You have your trail riders, your desert, your dunes, and you also have your off-road racing. But no matter what type of riding you do, one thing they all have in common is you want to have good foot and ankle protection. Now we know a lot of you guys out there, it's no secret, are just using some sort of heavy-duty work boot or just a pair of old shoes that you have lying around, but there's a lot of shortcomings with that type of footwear when it comes to the protection and the support that you are looking for. So in this video, we're going to break down 5 of our top 5 picks for ATV boots. We're going to have a boot up here that is going to fit the riding style of just about any ATV rider out there. So it's time to sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Alright, so the first 2 boots that we're going to talk about today, the first style of boot is going to be your half or your low boot. Now this style of boot is going to be geared towards your casual, your recreational riders. You guys don't like to get too aggressive, but you still want something that's going to give good ankle support and protection to your foot, but you don't want to sacrifice comfort, especially if you spend a lot of time off your ATV. Now the first boot with that style that we have up here, this is the Adventure Low boot from Forma. Now Forma's been around a long time, since 1999. They come out of Italy. These guys definitely make some quality boots. In fact, we have a lot of riders here at Rocky Mountain that use their full-size boot for their motorcycle, dual sport, and adventure riding. Now before we dive into it, let's talk about fit real quick. So it's going to fit true to size, plenty of room in the toe box. The step-in comfort with this boot is awesome. That is one of the reasons it is such a popular boot, is you're going to have zero to little break-in time with this boot. Now, as far as construction goes for this boot, it's going to be made out of full grain oil leather. So that adds to the comfort of the boot. It also makes it very durable, using very quality leathers out of Italy. Now, as far as a durability standpoint, you're going to have a shifter pad up here on your toe box, and a nice touch from Forma is on the medial side of your toe. You are going to have another leather pad that's stitched on that's going to give great reinforcement and also great abrasion resistance. Now, if we look at the buckle design, it's very simple. You have 2 buckles with this boot. We like the design that Forma uses. It's very simple to use even with a glove on. You take your strap, put it over your buckle, snap it down, and you are good to go. And then up here at the top, you are going to have a Velcro closure as well. Now, if we flip it over and we look at the sole of the boot. Now, this is one of the things that's going to separate this from more of your heavy-duty work boot. If you look at the sole, it's a dual-density anti-slip compound, so it's going to give great grip on your foot pegs. But if you do want to get off your ATV and walk around, again, you're going to have that comfort with the boot, but you're going to have a lug sole with this boot. So it's going to give great traction even off your ATV, and you are going to have a steel shank built in. That's going to give rigidity while you're out riding. Now, a couple more things about this boot we want to point out is going to be protection. So here on the lateral side and the medial side of this boot, you're going to have injection molded TPU panels. They're going to sit underneath the leather. That's going to give abrasion and impact resistance. Again, that's that protection that we talked about that your heavy duty work boots just aren't going to give you. Now, last couple of things we want to talk about this boot that put it into our top 5. First, it is completely waterproof. So from the toe box all the way up to about your second buckle, you have Forma's Dry Tex waterproof liner. We know a lot of you ATV guys, you go searching for those deep puddles. That is going to make sure your foot is going to stay dry. And the second thing we love about the inside of this boot, you are going to have memory foam around your ankle, which make that step-in comfort very, very nice. So if you're ATV riders, you casual riders, you weekend warriors, you're looking for a boot that gives good protection, good support, but you don't want to sacrifice comfort, you definitely want to consider the Adventure Low from Forma. Alright, so the second boot that we have up here, this is the Bomber boot from Fox. So if you were to take a Comp 8, which is their mid-level motocross boot, if you were to hack that off at the ankle and then slap a bunch of padding up here on the top, you're going to be left with the Bomber boot. Now this boot, this is going to be geared towards you sport guys out there or anyone looking for an ATV boot that is going to give the most range of motion. Now before we dive into it, let's talk about fit. It's going to fit true to size, plenty of room up here in the toe box, and this boot is very, very comfortable. From a construction standpoint, you're going to have full microfiber mixed with plenty of TPU, especially up here in the toe box. Big TPU panel for that added shifter protection. And here on the medial side, you're going to have a large heat shield again that's going to add to the life and the durability of the boot. Here on the outside, on the medial side, very simple buckle design. You're just going to have one buckle down here with Velcro closure at the top, but the buckle design is the same as their Instinct boot, which is their pro-level boot. Now, if you look at it, very simple to use, ball and socket design. Take it, set it, and forget it. It works flawlessly every single time. Now here on the bottom of the boot, this is their Duratac material. This is proprietary to Fox, same sole that they use on their Instinct boot. It's very durable, very tacky, hence the name Duratac, and you are gonna have a steel shank on the inside for added rigidity with this boot. Now, a couple more things we want to touch on that we like about this boot that puts it into our top 5 is up here around the ankle, like I talked about before. They put a ton of padding up here to make sure this boot's going to stay comfortable while you're wearing it all day long. And also, this boot is very budget friendly. It is at a price that is hard to beat. So if you're a sporty guy or if you're looking for a boot that has a lot of range of motion, you want to check out the Bomber boot from Fox. All right, guys, so the third boot up on the list, this is the Balanced Oil from Gaerne. Now, this boot, it has been a staple in their lineup for many years. It is very popular in the motorcycle, dual sport, and adventure realm. It started out as a trials boot, but it actually transitions very nicely into an ATV boot as well. Now, let's talk about fit. It's going to fit true to size. You're going to have plenty of room in the toe box. Now, I will say that right out of the box, this is going to be one of the most comfortable boots that you are going to find. That's really one of the main reasons that it's been so popular for so many years. From a construction standpoint, full grain oil leather throughout the entire boot. Gaerne is known for their top quality leather. If we look at the side here, 3 buckle design. Gaarne's buckles, they work very well. We've never had any issues with them, and you are going to have a nice big TPU shin plate up here on the front as well. If we look at the sole, they have their gum rubber sole. Now, this sole is very grippy on your foot pegs. It also does very well when you're walking around off your ATV, and you are going to have a steel shank in there that's going to add to the rigidity of the boot. One thing I do want to point out that I like that Gaerne does, you are going to have a traditional stitched on sole that can be replaced by a cobbler if you want to do that. Now, the last thing we want to talk about with this boot that puts it into our top 5 that we like about it is it's going to be waterproof. So it comes up to about the G here. You have Gaarne's Dry Tech waterproof liner. So again, if you like to go out searching for those deep puddles, this boot is going to keep your foot dry. So if you're a guy looking for a great ATV boot and you're looking for great step and comfort and more added shin protection than the boots that we talked about before, you're going to want to check out the Balanced Oil from Gaerne. All right, so the last 2 boots that we're going to show you guys today are going to be best suited for you off-road, you aggressive off-road racers that are looking for more support and great protection for your ankle. Now, the first boot that we're going to show you, this is the Blitz ATV boot from Thor. Now, I will say that this boot is really going to be suited for your beginner to intermediate rider. When it comes to fit, it's going to fit true to size, going to have plenty of room up here in the toe box. Now, these motocross style boots, they're going to be stiffer than the other boots that we showed you today. You just got to keep that in mind when you get them. Out of the box, they're going to be stiff. You just got to give them time to break in, and over time, they're going to become much more comfortable to wear. Now, with the Thor Blitz ATV boot, if we look at it, what I like is there's plenty of protection with this boot, great ankle support on the inside. They have a good medial panel here for abrasion and heat shield, and then wrapping around the medial side all the way up over the toe box, you're going to have plenty of hard TPU plastic. That's going to give abrasion resistance. It's also going to give good impact protection to the foot. If we turn it to the side and we look at the buckle design, it's 3 buckles, very simple, easy to use. What I like though is that this bottom strap here is a Y strap. So if we open it and look at it, so it's a 3 buckle, but this bottom strap, because it's that Y, it functions more like a 4 strap boot, but it's just one less buckle that you could possibly break. And again, you're going to have a large TPU shin plate here in the front as well. Now, if we flip it over and we look at the bottom, this is what's going to separate this boot and turn it into an ATV boot. It's going to be a lug sole. We know a lot of you ATV riders out there, especially like you GNCC guys, you got to get off your quad sometimes to get yourself out of a tight spot. You're going to need that additional traction on the ground, and that is what this sole is designed for. You also are going to have a steel shank that is going to give that added rigidity. One last thing I do like about this sole, you're going to have a traditional stitched on sole. Now here in the front, last call out, you're going to have a steel plate on the front of your toe box that is going to be replaceable. Again, just a lot of durability that is built into this boot. So why did we put this Blitz ATV boot into our top 5? If you're a beginner to intermediate rider, if you're looking for a rock solid boot but at a price that's not going to break the bank, you definitely want to check out this boot. All right, so last but not least, the last boot that we're going to show you guys today is the Sidi Crossfire 2 SRS. Now, Sidi, these guys have been making top quality products for over 50 years, and we love this boot. This is a boot that some of the best riders in the world are going to be wearing right now. Now, if you look at it from a fit standpoint, it's going to fit true to size. One thing we like that Sidi has done is they've actually done half sizes in this boot. So if you're right in between sizes, they have got you covered there. But we do want to point out in the toe box, out of all the pro level boots, this boot does fit pretty narrow, so if you have a wide foot, that is just something to keep in mind, and it is going to be a very stiff boot out of the box, but Sidi actually designed this boot to be stiff. They just want to make sure you have the most support possible for your ankle. Now, if you're wondering why of all the pro level boots that are on the market today, why we decided to go with the Sidi Crossfire, well, there's a couple key distinct reasons. And the first one is going to be the construction of it. Now, most of your pro level boots nowadays, they use microfiber, which is a synthetic leather. It's a good material, but Sidi is using what they call Techno Micro. It's exclusive to Sidi, and they say it's going to last longer and be more durable than your microfibers. And on top of that, this boot has an insane amount of hard TPU plastic all over the entire front, the shin plate, reinforcements in the heel cup, so you know that from a protection and an impact standpoint, this boot is going to have you covered. Now, when we look at protection for your ankle and stability, this is very important. On the lateral and medial side of this boot, you're going to have these pivoting hinges. It's going to allow the boot to flex extremely well, but your ankle is going to stay in a natural range of motion inside the boot, which is very important. The other thing I want to call out that we love about this boot is just about everything is replaceable. If you look at it, there's a lot of screws all over this boot, but that is done by design. Anything that has a screw, you can take that off and you can replace it, which is going to make this boot last a very, very long time. Even the sole of the boot, if we flip it over, you're going to have a steel shank inside. It's going to be very rigid sole, but you can see screws all the way around it. They've allowed you, this is the only boot manufacturer that does this, they allow you to take the sole off and replace it from your own home very, very easily. And to top it all off, on the inside of the boot, they have their cambrel liner, which is moisture wicking. It's also going to promote very good airflow to keep your feet nice and dry. So if you're a guy looking for a top quality pro level boot that, in our opinion, is going to have the best combination of safety, functionality, and adjustability, you want to check out this boot. To learn more about it, you can actually click on the link that's going to take you to our detailed spotlight video where I break this boot down in detail and show you everything you need to know. That's the Crossfire SRS2 from Sidi. Alright guys, so thanks for checking out our off-road ATV boot buyer's guide. Now remember, anything over $75 ships free, and if you're worried about fit, we have our fit guarantee here at Rocky Mountain. So if you ever get a boot you're not happy with the fit or the sizing, just send it back to us and we will make sure you get the right size on that first exchange free of charge. Now the next step, head over to our website at RockyMountainATVMC.com where you can read all the details and also read rider reviews. If you like what you saw today, make sure you click and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you will stay in the loop on all our latest product reviews, our buyer's guides, and our how-to videos that we are constantly rolling out. I'm Chase here at Rocky Mountain, and we'll see you on the trails.